And I understand that's why you go on to hospice, but I don't feel like I am sick enough for hospice. The week before I went into the hospital, while I was in the hospital, maybe the week after, I was more apt to it because I felt like I was sick and I was possibly dying. Hey guys, I'm so sorry I haven't been around in a while. My original plan was to make a video after I had my first surgeon appointment so I could give you some updates. For those of you who don't know, about a month ago, I ended up in the hospital because that gaping hole I had on my chest, it got infected and it opened up to my um, left implant. Doing this, I think I'm doing this backwards and it'll show backwards to you, but this side is my left side if it does show backwards. So I had implants back in 2010 for my original breast cancer, and my left side got um, a tumor around here. It got really big and it kind of went through and it opened up to my implant. So I got some double infection, two infections, and I ended up in hospital. They found out I had two infections, and they said I had to cure the infection, and getting that breast implant removed was the best idea. I've been in the hospital for almost 2 weeks. I had gotten really sick. I had infections for like 3 weeks caused by my gaping hole. That got really infected. I had two infections that I didn't know about. And then they ended up deciding to take out my implants. Then that's when they found out I had the wrong infection diagnosis. And they're worried that it's not going to heal. And if it doesn't heal right quickly enough, that means I cannot start chemo again, no treatment. And my only option would be hospice. So probably going to talk to them tonight along with my sister to make the decision, because either I go home tonight or tomorrow. So I just wanted to get on here a little bit and let you know what's going on, because I haven't made any videos. I've just made a few Instagrams. Let me give you a quick look at my room. There's one TV and there's another TV. I don't have a roommate, but what they do is they have two TVs so that if you need someone to stay with you, back there, I guess, let's see if I can point to it, right there, that thing opens up, and it's like my family or friends or whoever can spend the night there, and then use the TV up there, and there's like an extra light there. I haven't had anyone spend the night, but I've had people visit, so yeah. Once I get more answers, I guess I'll let you guys know what's going on. I don't want to have to make the decisions, but I do. For me, my kids are my number one reason for doing things. So I don't want to stop because I want to continue for them. But they said if this doesn't heal, I don't have any options. There's no way I can continue with chemo. And for hospice, you have to stop treatment. And I can't have any more radiation. So the only option is those chemotherapies that are not working very well. And like I said, if this doesn't even heal, I can't even have them anyway. That's why I have you probably can't tell, but I do have hair left over because I haven't had chemo for 3 weeks. tiny, tiny bit of hair. But if you have any questions, go ahead and post them and I'll try to answer them. I've been very tired, and in pain, so it's been hard to answer questions and make phone calls. They want me to eat more because my nutrition, basically the cancer is what's taking the nutrition first. So the cancer will take the food, the nutrition from the food, and I get whatever's left over. And so my nutrition is not very good. And they had mentioned, uh, I forget what it's called. It's like 3 or 4 initials, and it's an IV nutrition. It's not a feeding tube, and I don't think they use my port. I know people who've had it, but they've only had it because of being on, what is it called? Cystic fibrosis. And so my whole goal is to show them that I can eat enough so that my body can heal properly. And I can get over the infection and my body can heal from the surgery. We'll see. I feel like I'm eating all the time. If I'm not eating, then I'm visiting with someone and trying to call in my order for my menu. It's like, it's hard for me to eat because it hurts, like where it is. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. They didn't want to do both sides because they said it would open up Pandora's box. In other words, I'm already going to be fighting this one, and my immune system's low, and my nutrition status, because of so many chemos and the cancer itself taking my food first, so my nutritional status was low. So they were afraid that I wouldn't be able to fight 2, let alone 1. So they took out my left implant, and they told me that I wouldn't be able to have any chemo till all of my infections were healed, which makes sense. But they also told me that they didn't think that it was going to heal. They actually thought it was just going to keep getting worse because, number one, my nutritional status and being on chemo and low immune system, but also I've had a lot of different things to the skin in this area. I had radiation a few times and just a lot of damage, and so they didn't think it was going to actually heal. And in order for me to be on chemo and fight this cancer, that needed to heal. So they kind of, in a way, talked me into hospice. And the only reason why I agreed to it, I said, if we keep checking it and it does get better, can I sign off of hospice and go back onto chemo? And they said yes. And so that is why I did this. They said, right now, the only thing you can do is do everything you can do to heal it. And hospice would be your best bet because they give you a lot of services and they help you try to heal it. And they come in, they make sure that, like, they send in nurses and stuff, and they make sure it's healing properly and that you're dressing it like physically putting the dressings on it properly, and that my nutritional level isn't going down, and that I'm not going to be sick and end up sick for 2 weeks in the house instead of going and getting treatment for it, which is what happened before I went in the hospital. So I agreed to hospice. Obviously everybody thinks, oh no, don't do hospice. That means you're giving up. That means it's the end of your fight. And that's what I thought too, until I listened to them and they told me I could sign off at any time and stop hospice, and that they would be following me, and they got permission from hospice and the insurance to allow me to see the surgeon during that time, because typically they don't let you, see the surgeon. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense to me, but they got approved for that. As the day I went out of the hospital, within an hour, the person from hospice came out and evaluated me, and they saw how I was doing over a week, and then they gave me the services that they have based on how I was at that time. At that time, I was still quite sick because I just got out of the hospital. But over time, like after about 2 weeks and being on the proper nutrition and proper antibiotics and resting constantly and making sure it was physically dressed properly with the right bandages and stuff, and that it was clean and sterile environment when I was changing it, I am doing much better. And so I got excited thinking, well, I have my surgeon appointment coming up on the 10th. Um, he's going to tell me it's going in the right direction. And I was all excited. And the 10th came, and my tire of my car ended up having issues and I couldn't get to it. So they just reordered some of my antibiotics and scheduled me for another appointment. And so that was what was keeping me kind of okay with hospice. And I'll be honest, about 2 weeks ago, maybe after being in hospice, where I got to the point where I was feeling better and I was doing a normal hospice week, I was going to make a video. And the video was going to basically start out with this. It was going to say, I hate hospice. I don't hate the people, but I hate hospice because that's how I feel. The people are so nice. They do everything they can do to go out of their way to get me what I need when I need it. Even things that aren't technically supposed to be done in hospice, they're doing. And what I have is, like, you usually see your doctor, but since they're coming out to me, they're having a nurse practitioner come out once a week. And then I have an LPN come out twice a week to check me physically. And I have, it's not a social worker. Oh, a certified nursing assistant come out. And she basically doesn't do much physically for me, but she helps me with almost everything. In the beginning, when I needed help with things like changing the dressings, lifting things because I couldn't lift my arms, and take a shower and stuff like that, she came out twice a week. Actually, I think at that time, 3 times a week, to help me with anything I needed that wasn't major medical, because that was what the nurse and practitioner would do. Um, Although if there was an issue that I needed to have taken care of, she would call them up and let them know and call it in and stuff like that, and they would come out and help me as soon as possible. So during that time, I was on 2 antibiotics, and they worked really good. I've had them refilled twice so far, and I think that's why I'm doing so well. And when they wrote down in the paperwork and talked to me when I was half out of it, they actually said in the paperwork, and when I was half out of it, they said that they believe that I would probably be on antibiotics for the rest of my life and fighting this for the rest of my life because of all of the issues, and probably not stop till the inevitable happens. But, and they didn't see it getting better. They said they thought that it would just keep getting worse, and now it's getting better. So I was excited that I had my appointment, my next appointment with the surgeon, but then now all this coronavirus stuff came, and our area, I live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, and our kids actually had a day off from school early last week when most of the schools weren't having off because of it, because somebody was directly um, involved with someone who had coronavirus, and it ended up being a CHOP, which is Philadelphia, the hospital for the kids in Philadelphia. Their doctor's office, one of those went away on a plane, came back, but they didn't self-isolate and they didn't get it checked, and it turned out they had it. So they exposed so many kids. This person exposed so many kids to coronavirus. So our school was one of the first ones. There was one other one, that another school district that took off like 2 days before us, and then we took off. And then it turned out that the school, like Philadelphia and all of our counties, were told to stop school until the 29th. And so we are in that cluster of people, and there are a lot of people getting diagnosed with it. So a lot of our stores aren't open. None of our restaurants you can eat in. You have to only take takeout. Even doctors' offices are closing or are trying to get rescheduled or only see emergencies. So it's pretty intense here. So this last night, when I didn't get a call, was kind of, well, that's good. My doctor's office is open, because not all of them are staying open. And then I got a call 2 hours before my appointment by my doctor personally. He asked me how I was doing. I told him I feel that it is still, it's not as infected as it was. I'm not sick. I haven't had a fever. I haven't felt sick at all. The pain I've gotten under control with medicines and with the antibiotic. I said there were still giant hole in the middle because even with stitches, it didn't close up. And then there were two other smaller areas that had holes in the stitches where they popped. And all of those look a little infected, but nothing like it was. So I said, I might need to be on more antibiotic, he said, because we're trying to have anyone who is high risk not come into the office. And we're having a telehealth thing set up we're trying to get it set up for the end of the week. And so anyone who we can hold off till that, we're trying to do. And I'm high risk, he said. So he would rather me not come in. And so I understood. So I didn't get to have my appointment today, which really is poopy. It's not fun. I'm upset because I really wanted him to see how much better it is, that it is getting better, and that I might be on the road to recovery to be able to get his approval to start working towards getting off of hospice maybe and getting on to chemo again, because that's my plan. But it's going to have to be pushed back again because he said at the end of the week, maybe Thursday or Friday, they'll do the teleconference thing. I think it's like a Skype type of thing, but he's going to try to work it out with my nurse practitioner to be there, or one of the nurses, so they can be a physical eye while he can only see through, whatever his video camera shows him. I hate hospice, I do. The people are so nice, but what I hate about it is sitting around. I feel like I'm sitting around waiting for my death. They're telling me to relax and sleep and don't do anything, go out or anything. This was even before the coronavirus. But I was doing too much, I'll be honest. I was cleaning the house, I was going out with my kids still, but I was making sure I had all precautions with masks and not touching anything. I'm doing what everybody else is doing for the coronavirus. I was doing that beforehand, but I was not taking as much care of myself. Yes, I was trying to eat more and make sure I had more nutrition into me, because I want to have enough nutrition to fight the cancer and not keep losing weight. But I was still doing quite a bit. So I don't like hospice because of that, because I'm just sitting around not doing anything, just feeling like I'm waiting for the inevitable to happen. I'm the type of person who likes to make action happen, and especially with my cancer, I want to do whatever I can to, I know I can't cure it at this point, but to give me as much time here with my kids and my family as I can. And doing what I'm doing, I feel like I'm not doing anything. And I'm just I feel like I'm doing what everybody says, putting your hands up and saying, oh, do what you can. I'm going to die anyway. But I want to be doing something. So making an active effort to get this all healed so that I can be in chemo to give me more time, not to heal it, to give me more time, is my whole goal. And I'm not doing that when I'm just sitting there letting them look at me, not allowed to go to any like other kinds of doctor's appointments or anything. That's why I hate it, because I don't feel like I'm doing anything actively to make the cancer give me more time on this earth. And I understand that's why you go on to hospice, but I don't feel like I am sick enough for hospice. The week before I went into the hospital, while I was in the hospital, maybe the week after, I was more apt to it because I felt like I was sick and I was possibly dying. Now I'm getting better. I don't feel like I'm a candidate for hospice. And so not to have my doctor's appointment today was a pretty big blow. Not having it last week was a big blow. Not having it today is an even bigger blow. However, after saying all of that, not last night, I ended up taking a nap today. And after that nap, after I got the doctor's news and was listening more to people talking to other people about what isn't happening while in our area during this coronavirus thing, I kind of am like, well, maybe God was putting that in place, the hospice in place for this time, so that I could have the help I need to get better. Because if I didn't have hospice right now, I don't know if I would be able to go to the doctor's office as many times and get checked and have them help me with healing this. I don't know if I was going to be able to do chemo, or all of that is a big unknown, and I probably wouldn't be able to do most of those things that have to do with my doctor. And so I feel like maybe God put the hospice in this place because they're not going to not come out. They come out still all those times a week. and check on me and help me, which if I can just picture if it were all the precautions that we have for coronavirus right now, and I say I didn't address this properly, maybe it wasn't a sterile environment or something, and I got sick. Probably the same thing that happened last time would have happened, where I would have stayed sick in my bed and not called the doctor. Because I didn't really even call the doctor until my son ended up getting sick and I couldn't take him to his doctor's appointment. He saw how sick I was. He didn't want to leave me alone, go back to his dad's house and get him physically better. He didn't have corona, he just had a virus or something. And he made me call, this is my 18-year-old son, he made me call my doctor and, or 911. So I can just imagine with this whole corona thing, if I got sick right now, I wouldn't be taking care of myself and I wouldn't know what to do. And so I feel like maybe God did give me, have me go on to hospice, so I do have the help right now. And they come out to me, and it's going to keep me more safe from the coronavirus and just from my own self and cancer. So it's like one of those catch 27s. I always say it wrong. So if I say it wrong, I know you guys are going to go underneath and you're going to try to correct me. I'm sorry. I always say it wrong, but you know what I mean when I say catch 22, catch 27, catch whatever it is. It goes one way or the other way. And there's good in this situation and there's bad in this situation. Yes, I hate the fact that I'm on it, but there's also positives in the fact that I'm on it, meaning it as in hospice.